I can't get
All right. Well, we going live now. I'm going to start on time.
Okay, babe.
Regardless.
Should I go get James?
He'll come up in just a second.
Yeah.
He won't miss anything significant.
Okay, everybody that's watching online and everybody that's in here, we're going to start out by just taking a deep breath and opening ourselves up. I'm Earl Purdy, and we're going to open ourselves up to tonight's Way of Mastery class. So while everybody's entering the class, I see that there are some people that's already there, and there's some people that's already here, and we're going to see how deep we can go tonight. I need to go deep. I don't know about you, but I need some hardcore truth right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Amen.
I'm telling you, I need to see some things differently. So that's what I hope we'll be able to do, and that's what I hope we'll be able to do together tonight. And I'm going to start out with one of my favorite songs by Teresa Griffith. And it's called Someone Believes. It's called Someone Believes in You. Someone believes in you. So we're going to take this opportunity to allow ourselves to get really centered and really steal the energy of the day. We've been out in the illusion, we've been out in the world, and so now we have a chance to be together and hear something that's outrageous and that's different. And in just a minute, I'll give you the guidelines to the Way of Mastery class in case this is the first night that you're tuning in and it's the first time you hear. That's right, because I see some cute new face in the house over here. And that's always inspirational. And right now, and summer's in the room, and I tell you, cold as it is, I need some summer.
Amen.
That's what I'm talking about.
Bring on that summer.
Are you bringing it?
I'm bringing it.
All right, here we go. Let's. Welcome, Talisha, and Kelly, and Susan. Get a chance, really pay attention to the lyrics. Yes.
Taking a baseball, I couldn't
was her name?
Teresa Griffith is her name. She's a great singer. I met her years ago. She came here and performed. I've had that about, I guess, 13 or 14 years or something.
Wow.
Yeah, she really impressed me. Well, mighty companions, welcome to the Way of Mastery. And I want to go deep tonight, so I'm going to see if I can go deeper and cover even more material than we usually do. The only guidelines for the course of the Way of Mastery is that we need not believe it, we don't have to accept it, we don't have to welcome it. Some of the things that we're going to hear tonight, they're going to be hard to believe, they're going to be startling. Hopefully I'll say things that you don't believe. Hopefully I'll say some things that are totally different from what you think. Or hopefully I'll tell you some things tonight that's different from what you've been taught. Because I want to hear something different. I want another way of looking at the world. I don't want to deal with it the way that I was taught to deal with it, which is to see you all as separate from me and me as separate from you. That somehow or another my interests are separate from yours, and that we're in competition, and that we can't reach out and we can't love and support each other. And that we're victims of everything. Mm-hmm. And that we're just these little physical bodies that live a little while and then die, provided they can pay his master charge and Visa card bills. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I'm living just to get a car, a house, retirement, and die. I'm not going to accept that that's what my Creator has put me on the earth to do. I refuse to let myself be mesmerized and hypnotized by someone else defining for me what's supposed to be my values, what my life is supposed to be about, and what it's supposed to mean for me. And I'm hoping that I'm attracting people online as well as people who show up in the class that are ready to open their minds up to new ways of looking at themselves and new ways of looking at the world. We're going to be and also think of it this way too. It's not an accident that we're here tonight. And so that means that for some reason the universe brought us together, which means that there must be something that we're supposed to hear. And so be on the lookout for whatever the thing is that's supposed to be your takeaway for tonight. Why did I show up here? What was the purpose of it? If you don't answer that question or ask that question for yourself, there's really no purpose in being here. Because if you don't give yourself a purpose for being here, then there's no reason to pay attention to anything that's been said. There's no reason to pay attention to any of it. So the Course in Miracles, which is another book that I teach from, it teaches that unless you have a purpose, you can't evaluate or judge anything. You can't really know whether something is right for you or wrong for you if you don't have a purpose in the first place. And it also talks about how if a person doesn't have a purpose, then they become a person that things just happen to. Like people wonder why they seem like they are people that it's always something just happening to you. And in the Course in Miracles teaches that the reason why that happens is because most people don't have a goal. They don't have a positive idea of anything that they would like to happen. They can tell you what they don't like, and most people can tell you what they don't want really quickly. I don't like this. You say, let's go out to eat. They'll say, well, I don't want to go to this restaurant, or I don't want to eat over here, or I don't want to eat over there. But that's not the same as telling me what restaurant you want to go to and where would you like to eat or what you would like to eat. Many people will say, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to have a lack of abundance. I don't want to be poor. That's not the same as saying I want to know my wealth, I want to know my abundance, and I want to know my prosperity. So when you talk about what you don't want, the Course in Miracles, which I teach along with this, it tells you that you project it out into the world because you don't want it. Just like when you throw out trash, you throw it away because you don't want it. So when you talk about what you don't want, that's what you're throwing out into your world, and then that's what you meet. So that's why it looks like most people are, not most people, but many people are meeting what they don't want in life. Because they're always talking about what they don't want, what they don't like, what they don't believe, what they don't want, what they don't like, what they don't believe, who they don't like, who they don't believe. And so they're constantly projecting it outside of themselves, and then they meet it in their physical reality. So actually what you're meeting in your physical reality is nothing but that which you are rejecting and expelling out of your own mind. I want you to hear that for a minute. What you are meeting in your physical world, which is a projection of your own mind, is everything you're rejecting in yourself and everything you are expelling in yourself. say you don't like black folk, you end up in the neighborhood full of them. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're going to end up being around whatever you're rejecting so that you can learn to internalize it and see it as a part of your own mind and a part of your own consciousness. I don't like poor people, then you see yourself surrounded by it. Whatever. I don't like people who are selfish, then you find yourself pointing out all the people around you that you think are selfish. I don't want to be around people that's not loving, then you all day long you're looking at people that it look like you don't like, that you don't think is loving, that you feel like you have to criticize or judge. So the more you reject it, the more you expel it, the more you don't see it as linked to you, joined with you, and a part of your consciousness, then the more you meet it as an outside force that looks like it's pitted against you in some way. So that's a metaphysical spiritual truth. And it doesn't have anything to do with whether you believe it or not. Nothing that's true has anything to do with whether or not you believe it. If it's true, it's going to be true whether you believe it or not, right? That's another false premise people have. They think that the only thing that's true is what they believe is true. That's not at all true. All you perceive is what you believe is true. Only thing you perceive is what you believe is true. It has nothing to do with what's true or not. I don't have any choice about what's true. What's true is true anyway. And so, what is it that's true? What isn't that's true is that you are loved. What's true is that you are loved. And what's true is that you are lovable. What's true is that you are loved. What's true is that you're lovable. What's true is that you are loved and loving and lovable. What's true is that you're powerful. What's true is that you're powerful. What's true is that you're free. What's true is that you choose your experience. What's true is that your thoughts make your perception of reality. What's true is that you're a spiritual being. There are plenty of seats. What's true is that what you are perceiving everything that you're giving the meaning to is what you're perceiving right now. So when you come to my Way of Mastery class, when you watch it online, I warn you, I'm going to not see you as a victim for 90 minutes. I'm not going to accept that you're a victim. I don't care anything about your childhood. I don't care how you were brought up. I don't care anything about your race. I don't care anything about your background. I don't care about anything that you're telling yourself that's responsible for what you are experiencing right now, other than the way you're thinking and feeling right now. As we grow up and mature at a spiritual level, we stop holding the past and what's happened to us in the past as being responsible for what's going on in our experience right now. That's the primary difference between a consciously evolving being and someone that's still unconscious and not awake. One sees themselves as victims all the time and victims of circumstances, and the other one takes responsibility for their experience starting right now. So I'm not saying you may not have had a challenging childhood or challenging situations or circumstances, but I don't know how to break it to you. You must have been stronger than any of it because you're sitting here and watching me or in this room right now. That means that you were stronger than anything that you went through in the past, which means none of us can still continue to use that as a reason for why we're not happy right now and we can't give ourselves joy right now. So in the Way of Mastery, in lesson 26, and I'm going to finish up the lesson that's called, what is it called? Purification.
Allow purification.
Allow purification. And then I'm going to go through a couple of paragraphs, and then I'm going to throw it open for any kind of questions or discussion, whether online or in the room, for about 5 minutes or so. And then I'm going to go on further because I want us to hear as much of the new thought as we possibly can, but also I don't mind clarifying what we're talking about also. I don't want to make this an analytical class. It's not really about analyzing. It's really about I need to hear what the truth is, I need to remember it, and I need to learn how to apply it to myself. We can analyze all night long. But I would love to join with you on hearing something different. What about you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to start out with the paragraph that says today on page 313. And then there's a prayer, sort of like a prayer or an affirmation that we're supposed to say. And it's a really interesting prayer. It says, today you have been, I'm going to paraphrase this and make it as conversational as possible. I don't want to just sound like I'm just reading to you. I want it to sound like I'm being used to have a conversation with you with a mind, using a mind much smarter than mine. All right? I love you too much to give you my thoughts. Okay? So I'm going to honor you by giving you thoughts that are greater than the thoughts that my ego comes up with. It says, today you have been taken even more deeply into love. And how do you move more deeply into love? The way you move more deeply into love, it says, is to allow the past to pass away. So let's have a funeral for the past. Your past died today. All right? And we're having a funeral for your past. That means your past is gone. It's done. So yesterday, I thought I knew God. Today, I know God even more deeply. How do I know God more deeply? Because I have rescinded my need to be right. Do you know you won't know love and true love unless you let go of your need to be right even when you're wrong? The Course in Miracles teaches that we get up in the morning with the goal of being right even when we're wrong all day. My goal is to be right about everything that I think, even if I'm wrong. And it says, if you want to know God or love even more deeply, he says it's because I've rescinded my need to be right about what I once thought I knew to be true. So I no longer need to believe what I was taught to believe if it's not bringing me joy, if it's not bringing me peace. It's amazing how people hold on to beliefs that give them no joy. It's amazing how people can hold on to their ideas even though it's not producing any happiness for them. And so I rescind my need to be right about what I once thought I knew to be true. Creator, give me even more of you. That's the same as saying love, joy, give me even more of you. I want more. I desire more. You are infinite. You are my beloved. I want only to die in you. Even more and more deeper. I want to dissolve into love. I want to dissolve into light. I want to dissolve into the truth. I want my Creator to give me more. It says, give me more of you. To taste you, to devour you, to die in you. More and more and more. I want to merge with love. I want to dissolve in love. I want to know love. I want love to envelop me. I want love to surround me. I want to become love. So more and more becomes an eternal journey without an end to a goal that's never changed. I want to experience more and more of who I really am. I want to experience more and more of who you really are. Not more and more of who you taught yourself you are. I want to experience more and more of who you really are. Because if we knew who we really were, then we would be ecstatically happy to be in each other's presence right now. The fact that we still might feel like strangers means we don't know who we are yet. Okay? So it's easy to tell who knows they're one with you. Because who knows they're one with you, they're going to extend to you, and you're going to extend to them. And you're going to be glad that... It's the difference between somebody walking in the room that you know and the way you act when you see them, and somebody walking in the room that you don't know. There are usually two distinctly different ways you behave. So how would you like to live in a world where you felt like you could relate to everybody the way you do to the people that you know and you like? You're already in that world. Yeah. But it calls for me to be willing to extend to you sometimes first. You know, I've gotten on the elevator before, and I've been on the elevator, and it looked like the person standing next to me wasn't very friendly. Or that I wasn't, you know. But I thought I was, because we always think we cool. Okay, so, you know, it's always the other person that's not cool. It needs to be a little bit more loving. And I found if I said the slightest thing to them, then their whole persona would change. Just if I said the slightest thing, boy, I guess, sure it's cold today. I hope I hope I can get warm quick enough. They go, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, man. You know, I hope you're going to have a good time tonight, whatever you go to do. I said, yeah. Before I know it, before we get to the bottom floor, we've had a conversation with each other. Yet, before I said anything, they looked like they weren't a friendly person at all. But just as soon as I joined, as soon as I communicated, then they responded. And so I try to take that perception into any situation that I go into now. That if it looks like the people aren't being friendly, then it's probably because I'm not. I'm probably waiting for somebody to extend to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure all of you think you have friendly faces that you're looking at me with right now. But you don't. Okay? You don't. I'm not talking about everybody. You know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And this doesn't mean you're not friendly. It doesn't mean you're not loving. But sometimes we forget that our persona, our outer persona, is not reflecting anything what we feel on the inside. Sometimes when I thought I was smiling, I would make a point and go to the mirror just without changing my expression, just to see what my expression was. And I was shocked at how unfriendly I was looking, even though I thought I was being very pleasant, right? So what I try to do now is I try to see the world as a three-dimensional mirror. So the way that I see myself, I think, is to look in that mirror. Metaphysical spiritual truth is teaching us that you are my mirror. That the mirror isn't just me looking in that physical mirror. I don't know what my face looks like. You don't know what your face looks like without the use of a reflection. So what if I am your face? What if what you really are is what you were looking at, just like if you were looking in that mirror, you felt like that was who you were looking at. That's what the metaphysical spiritual truth is telling us, is that we are the same being. We are one being, and we are looking at itself. It's looking at itself. So when I look at you, I don't care how you're looking at me, that's the way I'm choosing to be looked at, from the standpoint of my own projections. That's what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at the way I'm choosing to look at myself through you. And you're looking at yourself. And now you know how handsome you are, you know how cute you are, you know, you get a much better perception of yourself than ever before, right? That's right. Isn't that right? Yeah, that's right. That's right. So the Course is saying to us, it's a journey with no distance. Only the sublime experience of tasting God, which is tasting love, and then surrendering that taste in order to taste even more. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're eating a meal, then you usually will eat one thing and then eat something else after that, then eat something else after that seems to be different. So you are really surrendering one taste in order to taste more. But what we do in our relationships is we just try to taste the same thing for the rest of our life. Suppose I fed you oatmeal for the next 20 years. You probably wouldn't enjoy it.
No.
So that's why when you're in a relationship of any kind, you don't want to turn into stale oatmeal with each other. You want to continue to support and encourage who you are with to be more of who they are. Because the more you encourage who you're with to be more of who they are, the more they'll surprise you and delight you and enchant you. Mm-hmm. But what happens is when a person is insecure, then their security seems to be based on how much they can make everything about that other person predictable and controllable so that they'll feel safe. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. So the relationship becomes stale, not because it has to, but because the two people involved are not giving each other room and space to grow. Because they're so fearful that they have to try to control each other. So surrendering to love is your being willing to trust that whatever I become could be something that you enjoyed more and more and more and more. But that's going to call for you being willing for me to continue to grow and change. All right? So people think relationships are difficult, and I always say relationships are not difficult. They're not difficult. We just had to learn the right rules about how to have any that work. Because most of us have been taught by people who weren't having happy relationships themselves. Think about it. Most of our role models were not people who were unconditionally loving themselves. Mm-hmm. So we've learned some very dysfunctional perceptions of what love and relationship is. It's so obvious you wonder why people don't notice that. Pain should be your indication that there's something amiss. If you're hurting, there's something amiss. So I want to surrender that taste in order to taste more. Love comes to supplant fear, which means love isn't the same thing as fear. And learning to jump in order to receive the parachute becomes a delightful game to play. I'm going to jump And then I'm going to see how the universe rescues me, takes care of me, and gives me this new experience. That's what it was when I came here. I left Memphis, Tennessee. I jumped into Denver. And when I came here, I was following guidance. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know where I was going to teach. I didn't know anything other than I was being instructed to come here. And within a month, I was at this church. I was put on the board. I was given an office. I was given 2 cars. I was put on TV, and I had my own TV show and a whole host of new friends, and I partied like a big dog. Now, that was what let me know I was in divine order. If it's something that, if you're following what your guides tell you to do, and you're truly being true to your inner self, if you are jumping in order to receive the parachute, then this does become a delightful game to play. I can feel that it's getting ready to happen to me again. I can tell that there are things that are coming to a big conclusion in my life right now, and that I'm going to be asked to make another leap in some way. I can feel it. I can tell by the people in my life and what's going on, the changes that are happening, what's leaving, what's staying, the changes in my classes, the people in my life. After a while, you begin to feel intuitively, and you begin to know when it's time for you to be open and flexible to the next thing that you're going to have to do. So instead of doing like most people would do, which is for me to try to dig in even more, to try to hang on to what I already have, my awareness is telling me I need to let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. Don't be attached, don't hang on to nothing, let go, let go, let go, let go. Which is just the opposite of what you would be kind of like instinctively thinking you should do.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to hang on to anybody that seems like they're leaving my life right now, I'm not. And trying to hang on to the way that I teach, I'm not. Trying to hang on to where I teach, I'm not. Because I've learned that just makes it more painful when it's time for a change. You know, because what shows up next is always going to be more fulfilling. Just like a snake shedding the skin. In order for it to continue to grow, it's got to shed its skin. If the snake was freaking out, it wouldn't continue to grow. It's like when you have to repot a plant. It's grown as much as it can in that pot. It needs something bigger. And some of y'all really need a lot of pot. And so
Some of us had too much.
some of y'all had too much pot. Thank you for sharing, brother. I appreciate that. Don't lose your sense of humor.
Not personal testimony.
Do not associate being spiritual with not having a sense of humor. You know, because that makes you a really dull person to be around. Because some people associate spirituality with always being quiet and talking really proper and that kind of stuff, you know. And that's why people who really like to have a good time and play and try new things, they sometimes avoid what we call spiritual environments like a plague. Because for them, frankly, it's boring as hell. They want to be able to be themselves. They want to be able to communicate the way they communicate. They want to be around people who are spiritual, but also fun. And also in their bodies. And don't have a stereotypical attitude about what being spiritual looks like and what being spiritual sounds like. That we would have more people joining in what we call spiritual gatherings. But even that, in many cases, is based on what we learned as children. What we learned in going to church or being around those type of environments. And I'm not putting that down at all. That's perfect for who it's perfect for. But there is no one environment that's perfect for everybody. And so you owe it to yourself to be in the environment that you feel the most innocent in, that you feel like you can grow and expand in. And what I try to do is create a space where people feel like they can be themselves around. Because I want to taste something different all the time. It says, when I decided to allow the crucifixion, I jumped. Can I find my Father even more deeply in crucifixion? What does that mean? It means when you are even facing something that seems like it's painful, could you say to yourself, can I find my Creator even more deeply in this experience? If I'm in some type of a painful situation right now, could I find the truth or the love even more deeply here in this experience? For me, it was the combination of a life in which I developed trust that my Creator would always catch me. So what I'm working on, and I'm hoping you're working on, is to develop a state of consciousness that you always trust that the universe will catch you. That no matter what, Spirit will catch you. It's like the ultimate net. You know, I feel much more comfortable trying to walk on the tight wire if I thought it was a net under me. So I would be much more willing to try new things like coming here because I didn't think I was coming here without the support of God. I didn't think I was coming here without the support of the universe, my creator. Of course, I wouldn't have come. It would have seemed stupid. But I've learned in 30 years of doing this full time and watching people come and go that there's something that always provides for me no matter what, as long as I keep making that relationship my number one priority. My relationship to my creator isn't something I do after I do everything else.
That's right.
Maybe I'll have a little time to focus on the truth,
That's right.
which is what I see often in other parts of myself called other people. Okay? I see them put their spiritual consciousness raising part of their life. It's what they say they'll do. It's like there are a lot of things I'm going to go out here and do today, but let's just say doing the class becomes optional. That becomes a thing that I go, well, I had to take care of the groceries. I had to go to the cleaners. I had to go talk to my mate. I had to go to work. I don't know if I'll do the class or not.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if I'll meditate or not. The spiritual stuff always becomes the first thing that's always the option to let go of. Right? And what I had to do was stop that. It wasn't until I flipped it over where my relationship to Source was my primary relationship that all that other stuff began to take care of itself more often or become more easy to handle. Does that ring the bell? Okay, so those of you that are staying at home that could have come here, I'm not putting a guilt trip on you. I'm just telling you, just think about, is it really, what is your purpose? What is your value? What's really important to you? That's the only question I'm asking you to ask yourself, because I know you're in the perfect place at the perfect time doing what's perfect for you. But I wouldn't be a good teacher if I didn't ask you to ask yourself, what are your priorities? What's really important to you? What do you really value? So I was reading in another section of this book the other day that it was saying that your freedom won't claim you until you claim it.
Mm-hmm.
Love won't claim you until you claim it. Peace won't claim you until you claim it. You know, you won't claim you. Nobody else is going to claim you till you claim you. So, for me, it was the culmination of a life in which I developed trust that my Creator would always catch me. That journey, by the way, has never ended. Mm-hmm. I'm still on the journey of developing the trust that my Creator will catch me. And those of you that would come to where I am, rest assured, you best not waste a single moment. I'm continually dying more and more into God. I'm continually dying more and more into love. I'm continually dying more and more into life. I want to die into loving you. I want to merge into loving you. You know. And the more loving I am, the more suspicion I'm going to bring up in you. Okay? The more loving I am, the more suspicion I'm going to bring up in the part of you that doesn't love. It's amazing how much time I used to spend trying to get people to like me and to love me and to get in a relationship with me. I think about how much time I wasted doing that, and I have to forgive myself for it. Now, if I meet someone who doesn't trust me, then I know they're untrustworthy. So you come at me suspicious, you let me know I don't need to get to know you.
Yeah.
But you think it's about me proving to you that I'm trustworthy. The minute I see that, I go, don't want to work that hard. I don't want to work that hard. Will never work that hard again for the rest of my life. Because when I took that attitude, I'm not going to work hard for love because love is freely given, I started to meet people who came into my life that we clicked immediately. But when I was all about trying to, I know when people come to the classes sometimes that I teach or watch me on the internet, there are those who immediately are suspicious of me. They don't like me, or they don't agree with what I'm saying, or they want to back off. That just tells them what kind of mind they have. And their world is populated with people that they can't trust. But they don't realize they're the one that's creating it. Because your outer reality is going to match your consciousness. And if your consciousness is full of suspicion all the time, you're going to draw people to you that you should be suspicious of.
Yeah.
To make it true. So you can be right. That's what it means where it says, would you be willing to rescind your need to be right? Because if you want to be right about thinking that you don't deserve love, or right about thinking you can't trust people, or right about feeling you can never be successful, then that need to be right is going to keep you from having the love and the happiness that you want to have. And everything will prove to you you're right about it. And how do you know it's not right? You don't like the way you feel. That's how you know it's not right. You don't like the way it feels. So, any questions, comments, takeaways, or ahas, either those of you watching online or those who are here with me, that I'm very grateful that you are here with me, as well as you who are online.
Now, I find it very reassuring that the universe has my back, and that the more that I trust and I die into that, I love that, dying into God, dying into
God.
love, dying into
dying
life.
into love.
You know,
Right,
that
right.
the more I die and lose my sense of self-identity, the more I receive, and the more I am able to trust that the divine has my back, that it's all covered.
The ultimate insurance policy. I call it the ultimate assurance policy. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Any takeaways? Any ahas? Any questions about anything I've said? You don't have to agree with me. It's okay.
I really liked when you called it the parachute game. That's going to stick with me.
The parachute
It's a
game.
good description of exactly what, when you're leaping and people around you think, she's crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Right? And you know you have that faith.
Yeah.
But the parachute game, it's such a great way of saying it. You know?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm at the point that when the world agrees with me too much, I worry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. If when the world starts agreeing with me, then either my reality has truly changed, or I'm watering something down about myself in order to be accepted. That's why I never care. I don't care anymore whether or not I'm a teacher that reaches millions, or you ever see me on a network TV show, or that I sell 2 million books. I could care less. I'd rather have 20 people in front of me that I feel comfortable sharing with, to see the value in what I'm doing, that I can be myself and not try to make myself lukewarm and compromise who I am so that I can be accepted by a lot of people. Because, you know why? Because I don't believe you're taking care of me. And I'm grateful for everything you share. Because that'll free you. I can't be honest with the person that I think my happiness depends on. It's hard to be completely honest with somebody I think my security is based on. I'm going to tell them what they need to hear in order for them to still meet the needs I think I have. That's why when people break up with you, they tell you everything they think about you. And they'll tell you every way they were lying and deceiving themselves with you, or being something other than themselves while they were with you. Why? Because they don't care anymore whether they're with you. But while they had a personal investment in you in that relationship, then they would be tempted not to tell you the truth about what's going on. That's why being free and allowing yourself to have a self-generated abundance and peace coming from the truth within you, so that you don't need anybody in that sense, allows you to have honest relationships.
So you're being deeply appreciated online. Kelly Belly says, I love Earl
Kelly
so
Belly.
much. And Talisha comes back and says, he's giving me life right now. So very beautiful comments there. Talisha wants to know, she said, a quick question. A journey with no distance, does that mean I'm on a journey with no ending?
You're on a journey with no ending, in the sense that you're continually dying into love. That you're going to keep experiencing more and more and more and more of the love that you are in receiving love. But you're on a journey without distance to a goal that's never changed. Your goal is love. It can be in this moment where you are right now. So the journey you're on doesn't have a distance. And your goal, which is to be happy and to have love, that goal has never changed. Every one of us in this room knows that for as long as we've been here, we wanted to be happy. That goal has never changed. The error was in believing that your happiness was somewhere other than where you were. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to everybody? It's always in the next person, the next situation, the next circumstance, the next thing outside of me. That's when I'm saying that we are looking in the wrong place. If I'm going to experience breathing air right now, I can't breathe the air that's going to be around tomorrow. If I'm going to live, I got to breathe the air that's in this room with you right now. I can't breathe the air I breathed a minute ago, right? So every time you look outside of where you are, you're looking in the wrong place. Because I realized I had so much love in my life all the time that I never really appreciated because I was always looking somewhere else.
We have a
Give me another one.
We have a first-time guest, Asada Nicole, who's the first time on Facebook, and she's just really resonating, and want to welcome her.
What's her name?
Yeah, Asada Nicole.
Asada! What's up? Okay, all right, now.
Oh, there's a lot of times she's on.
Oh, she's gone! Oh, it's good. Oh, that's great. I'm always pleased to have new people that the Holy Spirit sends to connect with me. All of you are my teachers, by the way. It may look like it's the other way around, but the truth is we're each other's teachers. We're told equals. And that's where the miracle is located, in knowing that we're all equals. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go to the next part if there's not anything anybody want to say. Ari, there's nothing that you want to say, brother? You cool? Okay. All right. All righty. Beloved friends, we will end this lesson with this suggestion. I want you to ask yourself this. Where is fear still abiding in my mind? What in your mind are you still afraid of? Is there anything that you still fear? Is there anything that I still fear? Is it anything that I still fear? Now, remember, if you want to get clearer about fear, add this to it. Is there anything that I have the fear of losing? Mm-hmm. Then you'll get to what you fear. Because all fear is fear of loss. So, if you would be afraid of losing your house, you have fear. And it has nothing to do with whether or not you keep your house. The mere fact that you would fear losing it means it is a cause of fear for you. That's deep. Mm-hmm. Because I think as long as I have it, I don't have any fear. But the truth is, if I have fear of losing it, then I have fear even while I have it. It's like getting a new relationship and then you become afraid of someone taking that person away. You got them, but you're jealous because you're afraid of the future. And you don't feel like you're such a good catch. Because if you knew you were valuable, you wouldn't be so afraid of losing them. So really, it's you not thinking you're valuable that makes you jealous.
Okay.
You hear that, Raj? You understand that, dude? Okay. You know this class is for you, right? I know it's for me. Okay. Okay. Are you afraid of the death of a husband or wife? Are you afraid of the death of a mate? Are you afraid of a child growing up or your child growing up? Which happens really quickly, by the way.
Yes.
Even though it seems like it's not happening fast enough when they're little. It's like, but let me tell you, it happens fast. Are you afraid of losing your job? Are you afraid of being homeless? Where is the edge of your fear? Where's your fear edge? See, you got to go to your edge and then go a little bit beyond it to grow. You got to go right to your edge and then go a little bit beyond it to keep growing. So are you living in your comfort zone? Are you living a life that doesn't challenge you at all? anymore? Are you putting security before creativity? Many people are. Let me ask you this. Can you imagine living without a man in your life? Can you imagine living without a woman in your life? Here's a big one. Can you imagine living without a dog in your life? Especially in Colorado. I see everybody woke up then. Without a man, big deal. Without a woman, big deal. My dog, wait a minute now. That's a different, my cat. Can you imagine living without your cat? I've told many people I was in relationships with, I hope one day that I can get up to the level of your cat. I said it. I said, I hope one day you can love me as much as you do your dog. You know, because they love their pets more. Sometimes it seems more than the person. Because the dog or cat, I guess, is more consistent in its love, in a way. You know, when I had a dog, he was always glad to see me, no matter what I was going through. I can't say that about any person I've ever been in a relationship with. That they were always happy to see me. I never saw my wife wag her tail. You know, so back in the day when I was married, you know what I'm saying? You know, so I mean, do you meet your partner with that kind of enthusiasm? That when they come in the door, you really light up. Really light up. You know what I mean? So can you abide without another person in your life? I love my company. I'm okay being with me. I'm okay taking me out to dinner, to movies, to play. I took myself to the ballet just last week. You know, and was freaked out at how cool it was. It was great. It was great. I was the only black person there, but it was really cool. Everybody goes, ooh. It's like, no, that's not true. They were so friendly, it was ridiculous. You know, and because I was sitting with myself. See, I always go in places and I'm sitting around myself. It just looks like, it might not look like it's me, but it's me. And when I have that attitude, everybody's friendly. And when I don't have that attitude, that's when I have my run-ins. Right? Right?
Yes.
So what I'm saying to you is because I enjoy being with myself, it makes me patient in my relationships. It keeps me from rushing into things that are not best for me as if I'm desperate for something. That's what I mean. So if you love yourself, and that makes you magnetic. It makes you charismatic. It makes people attracted to you. People can feel that dysfunctional, needy energy, and I don't care how you look, it'll repel them. Unless they are caretakers. People who are trying to raise their self-esteem by taking care of somebody else and fixing somebody else. Yeah. And people like that look for the most dysfunctional people that they can find who they have to always work on it. So their relationship is like a job. I'm working on my relationship. I got to work on my relationship. So why don't you just go and get a punch clock? The pay sucks, but you know, okay. There is nothing more than this. If you can't live without people in your life, there's nothing more than unhealed mother and father issues. It's an authority problem. So you should be just as happy in a relationship as not in a relationship. If you are happy with yourself without being in a relationship, you're ready for a relationship. That's the person who's ready to have a partner. The one that doesn't need one to feel whole and complete. Not the one who says, I got to have one or else. And if you say you want the truth, which is that you are whole and complete, then it will look like that partner eludes you. Because the universe is trying to teach you that you don't need it in order to be happy. And as long as you think you do, then the universe won't provide it if you're serious about spiritual growth, which is different from manifesting things that I like. Those aren't the same two things. So yes, you can manifest a relationship, but the real question is, what do you want it for? Because that's going to determine the outcome. So, any questions, any comments about that? Or anything that came up for you when I was asking you about fear? Or just anything.
You struck a chord with the dogs and cats.
Oh, did I? back, you know.
Jerry says, no dog, no cat. Hell no.
I know, I had a chicken named Jim. I was really like, Jim was meant a lot to me. Okay,
Did Jim become dinner?
Don't talk about that. don't talk about what my dad did to Jim.
Okay.
I'm still working on that. Yeah, brother.
What does the courage to go a little bit past the edge of the fear come before you go past it, or after you go past it?
I think it comes before.
It comes before.
Yeah, I think before you're willing to go past that edge, there's got to be a part of you that knows you're ready, that knows you're going to be okay, that's willing to take that chance. You know what I'm saying? It's like before I jump out the plane, I got the parachute at least on my back. So I wouldn't have jumped unless I thought I had the parachute to begin with, at least me personally. So I feel like when we try something new, there would have to be a part of us that felt like it was going to be okay, that at some level it's going to turn out okay, to even be willing to make that leap. And because that's what it was just telling us, that, you know, that we really are playing the game but we do have a parachute, that we do have a net, you know, and that's good to know. That's brave. So it's okay to trust that. It's okay to trust that you have a divine net. That's why I came here. Don't get me wrong. I came here because I thought I had a divine net. Or else I would have stayed in Memphis where all my family was and everything else. I wouldn't have never made the move just to be doing it. You know, I had to already feel it was, you know, I was covered.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm learning that I'm not covered by the world.
Yeah.
Yes, my brother.
That what is usually referred to as belief?
What's usually
The trust.
I think true trust is deeper even than belief. You know, I feel like what's real is actually beyond belief, but I believe you have to fully believe before you can go past it. So I think your beliefs can lead you to trust. And
Well,
I
I just noticed you hadn't used the word belief except in sort of a negative connotation.
No, actually I said your belief actually determines what you perceive and what you see. And what you experience is actually coming from your belief. I believe belief in and of itself is neutral. It's what is it that you believe that determines whether it's love that you experience or fear. So I'm glad you said that, you know, so that I could kind of clarify more from my perspective. I think belief is everything in a way, especially at the level of consciousness we're on. I think belief is unbelievably important. You know, because a belief is what you've accepted as true for yourself. It's and what you believe. See, most people, when they share with you what they believed, they're just telling you what they've learned. We are actually pretty much parroting everything we were told. And that's how we live. You know, we are born, right? Then these two giants, usually, right? Right? They tell us everything that's going on, right? And we don't even, you know what's going on, so we believe it. We accept it as true. And then that determines, even from a child, how you see your experience and how you relate to it. So that's why it's so important to get in touch with what's going to be your authority figure now.
Yeah.
You know, like it says, it's an authority problem. Who's in charge? In my life, I want love to be in charge, the Creator to be in charge. But I had to make a decision about how I was going to see my Creator, back to belief. What am I going to believe about my Creator is going to determine my relationship to it. Right? So I realized there wasn't but two decisions I could make about my Creator. That my Creator was based in love, or my Creator was based in fear. Many people in our culture have a fear-based perception of the Creator. That it punishes, condemns, judges, wipes you out if you dress too short. You know what I'm saying? So all of those limiting ideas have an effect on how much you're willing to trust your Creator. And you're not going to trust the Creator that you feel like you're disobeying, who's going to punish you. Because you think at any second it could punish you for your wrongdoings. And at the same time, because you don't trust your Creator and you have a distrustful perception, a person is going to transfer that distrustful perception to their brothers and sisters. So then I'm not going to trust you either. And then because I have a distrustful perception, guess who else I'm not going to trust? Me. So therefore I live in a world of fear. Where I think you out to get me, my Creator's out to get me, and I'm out to get me. So how happy am I going to be? Right? So then I look for a relationship that will give me a reflection that I am valuable. See, you see that? And so because I need to feel valued and valuable, because I don't, I'm going to cling to you to make sure you don't leave me. So I'm going to imprison you, cling to you, attack you, to try to hang on to you. And I'm going to also use guilt to try to keep you. I'm going to try to make you feel too guilty to not do what I want you to do. And I will manipulate you through guilt and anger. So I'm going to let you see how mad I am all the time in order to guilt trip you into doing what I want you to do in order for me to feel important and valued. Now, how much fun does that person sound? Doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun to be with, right? You know, and especially in special relationships. So, and what's your reward? Some good and not so good sex every now and then, right? Maybe, because you got because you got exclusive use usually to each other's body. But who wants to join with somebody that they're scared of and who makes them feel guilty all the time? A lot of people. Yeah.
So a couple of comments. So first of all, what you just said is a perfect segue into Carolyn, who is channeling her southern drawl today. She says, "I'm afraid to lose my specialness, y'all."
Yeah.
And Jerry asked, how do you know what you're truly afraid of? And it really felt like the emphasis was on truly, you know, I could make up all kinds of fears, but how do you know what I'm truly afraid of?
Well, it's the thing that, to me, what I'm truly afraid of is the thing I'm most afraid of losing. Whatever that is that I absolutely am obsessed with keeping and that I'm attached to. So the thing that I'm most attached to is the thing I'm most afraid of. And you would have to answer that for yourself. What I've learned through studying these spiritual practices is this. What I'm most afraid of is joining. What I'm most afraid of is love. Same thing. What I'm most afraid of is God. Same thing. Which is saying what I'm most afraid of is happiness. I freak out the most when I'm happy. That's when it brings up that's when my fear of loss comes up the most. Is when I'm really, really, really think I'm happy. And everything really seems like it's going my way. And looks like I really have something I've always wanted. That's what I've found brings up my fear the most. The fear of losing it. Or, I don't know about you, but I used to have this habit, and it still comes up now, where every time I give something, a good thing to myself, I follow it up with some kind of crap right after. So I give myself something to be happy about, and then I give myself something to suffer about.
Yep.
And I give myself some happiness, and then I sabotage it. You know, I've done that many times in my life. It's almost like there's a part of me that absolutely believed that I did not deserve to have true joy and happiness. So as soon as I would give it to myself, I'd do something to lose it. And so I found my fear was fear of happiness, which is the Course of Miracles calls it the fear of God. Because God is happiness. Love is happiness.
Yeah, I guess I'm just curious what once I've clarified that deepest or core fear, I don't know what the process is for moving through it or
the process,
I don't know what to do with it.
Okay. One process is to first of all allow it. Don't try to stifle it. Don't try to avoid it. Don't try to pretend you're not feeling it. Don't try to bury it beneath some positive thought.
Allow the fear.
Allow it.
Yeah.
Because what you allow, you are letting move through you. And if you let it move through you, it moves out of you and it moves away. The other thing is when you allow it, then it moves through you, and then the love and the peace that's behind it, which is always on the other side of it, you become aware of it. So with my friends and the people in my life and the people that I share with, I really, really try to always allow them to express whatever they're feeling around me without me trying to correct them in any kind of way. So that they can go ahead and say it the way they want to say it, feel it the way that they want to feel it, and then they just get it out. And once they do, it's like I've had people who were in a special relationship who were very upset with me about something, right? And I learned through learning that if I would just be quiet and listen, and even more than that, if I really wanted to have it solved quickly, I would not only listen, I would feed back to them what they just said to me. Oh, so you're saying that you don't feel really appreciated the way you'd like to feel appreciated with me, and if I come home late, that really upset. Is that what you hear me say? Okay. How can we handle this in a way that will bring both of us the most peace? Because most people just want to be heard. Mm-hmm. If they ever feel like anybody's really hearing them, then the defensiveness drops, and it's the defensiveness that's creating the attack. But what happens in our world is you can barely get out anything without somebody feeling defensive or correcting you or stopping you or trying to get you to see it their way or telling you what's wrong with the way that you're seeing it. And so they prolong the very thing they want to get rid of because they won't allow it. So what you do is you allow the feeling, you take a breath, and you say, I want another way to look at this. Can we come up with another way to look at this? I try to do with people what I call if it's two people, me and another person, I try to do what I call the 200% solution in my own mind. And let me explain what that is. It's very simple. Can we work this out in a way that you win and I win? Not let's work this out in a way that you get what you want, but I don't get what I want, which is what most couples call working something out, is that somebody's got to sacrifice to the other. And if the other person sacrifices to you, then you say they love you. If I give up what I want so that you can be happy, then you say I love you. And the truth is, that's just sacrifice. And you just resent the hell out of me because you are not getting what you want out of the situation. You see? So what we call love, the truth teaches me that it's sacrifice. So when you no longer sacrifice in a relationship, what I've learned is that people who believe in sacrifice call you selfish. Mm-hmm. You get called selfish over and over because their idea is the hell with your joy, just since you do what makes me feel good, and that's what you would do if you really loved me. You would put my needs before yours, right? But I can't give you what I don't have. So if I don't keep my peace, I can't give you any. If I don't have any love for myself and the happiness within me, I can't give you any. So I cannot give my happiness away to make you happy, or I won't have anything to give you or me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's easy to say in the classroom or in the room or at home. It's another thing to act this out in a relationship. Because depending on how guilty you feel will determine how much you're able to be manipulated by guilt. So if you are full of guilt, then people can manipulate you into doing things out of guilt.
Yeah.
That's why recognizing your own innocence is the key to happiness. That's why that whole idea of you being told you were born in sin creates a belief that you deserve to suffer. Think about that. Someone tell you when you're born that you're inherently flawed, then that idea is in my mind, something's wrong about me. I'm bad. And if you believe you're bad, then you're going to create a reality that validates that. So you start by choosing the wrong friends, the wrong relationships, the wrong career, everything. You start choosing everything that won't make you happy because that is the way you punish a person who thinks they're bad. So the person that loves you, you'll avoid. The person that doesn't know how to love, you'll fall in love with.
Yeah.
You know you want to be a musician, but you don't go do music, you go do business marketing. Because you know you'll go to work and feel unfulfilled, which is your form of punishment. You follow what I'm saying? If I have a core belief about myself of not being enough, or that I'm flawed, or that I'm bad, I'm going to always choose the opposite of what would make me happy. I'm going to be attracted to the person that wouldn't make me happy. And I'm going to be repelled by the person that's kind and loving. I won't get turned on by them.
Because they're too nice.
They're too nice.
They're too nice.
They're just too nice. That's right. That's right. Okay, let me see. Anybody else? Thanks for asking questions or making comments. I appreciate that. Okay, look friendly. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. All right. Would you like to know what an awakened person is like?
Yes.
Well, it says the awakened person abides only with God, which is love. An awakened person cannot any longer comprehend possessing or being possessed. They allow, as we said earlier, an awakened person allows all things, trusts all things. An awakened person loves without reservation the one who stands before them. If I'm awake, I'm going to love you without reservation. When I'm in a relationship and I begin to feel fear, I used to shut down and contract, right? Not contract. Now I try to tell myself as soon as I can to open up more. Mm-hmm. And I also try to tell myself, don't make any decisions while you're upset and in fear. Mm-hmm. Because when I'm upset and in fear, my perception is the most distorted about the situation. So believe yourself the least when you're mad. Believe anything that's going on the least when you're upset. And that's when people tend to feel like they got the clearest perception, which is funny. I'm angry, so I must be seeing it right because I wouldn't be mad about nothing. You are always mad about nothing. You're always mad about nothing. Because anger just means you're not acting out my script. You're not acting out my script. It's not acting out my script. It's not acting out my script. It's not acting out my script. He's not acting out my script. She's not acting out my script. The dog isn't acting out my script. The cat isn't acting out my script. That's anger is always somebody's not acting out my script. They're playing the music too loud. My script is that they shouldn't play loud music. You see what I'm saying? There's not a case where you're angry that is not coming from you have a script that you think something or someone should be acting out and they're not doing it the way you want them to, and now you are mad.
Yeah.
Okay? That's why all anger is about nothing, because you're the one that's generating it. So you could stop it. I can tell you, please don't come home late without cussing you out. I could tell you everything I want to tell you in anger. I could tell you the same thing in peace. I just have to stick to what I'm saying, even though I said it peacefully. I can peacefully say, if you keep attacking me, criticizing, and judging me, I'm going to choose out of this relationship with you because I don't deserve that. Okay? Let's go to the movie. All right. Now, you can continue. So I didn't have to cuss you out. So you low down dog, if you do that one more time, I'll beat you upside the head with my shoe. Okay? Now, I could say that to you, but that's just me still trying to put guilt on you and still trying to make you act out a script that I want you to act out. I could choose for my peace by saying, you're totally innocent by coming home at 1 o'clock in the morning. You're totally innocent, but that doesn't work for me. So if you continue to do that, you're innocent, but I'm going to choose out of this form of relationship with you. And I wish you the best. See the difference? Then they come home at 1 o'clock again, and, you know, all their clothes out on the street. But it was done peacefully. So I was putting a lot of pieces. I put your underwear on the side. That's right. That's right. See your thumb? They're right over there by the curve. Oh, that's right. The spiritual teacher doesn't say thong.
You didn't say thong.
Thank you.
At least they didn't get hit by a shoe on their head.
That's right. It's better than a shoe on your head. That's right. Just wear a thong on your head. Okay. Now, does that make sense though, what I was saying?
Yes.
You can peacefully mean what you say. You can peacefully tell the truth about where you are. You don't have to attack people in order for you to be true to yourself. You don't have to attack people in order to not see yourself as someone who's just being treated without respect. So therefore I got to go off on you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you that the more loving you become, the more conscious you become, I don't know how to break this to you, but the less attack will work for you. When you start to become more loving, going off with people will not work. And the more you do it, the more the outcome is going to be the opposite of what you want. Because you're going to lose your ability to attack as good as you used to. And so the people who are still into arguing and attack, who never stop doing that, they're still keeping that muscle going. So they're ready for a fight. They know how to fight. You've forgotten how to fight. Because that's not the way you want to live your life anymore. So you have to stay out of it because you're not good at it anymore. They're not good at peace, and you're not good at conflict anymore. So people who thrive on conflict, they'll beat your ego up all the time. The part of you that wants to conflict, you're not going to win with somebody who lives strictly from anger and attack and guilt. That's why when I'm talking to people in the world that believes the way that the world believes and they're full of anger and attack and guilt, I don't try to get into any kind of altercation with them. What they can't handle is peace. That's what stops them in their tracks. But they're spoiling for a fight, but they're not ready. Like this guy got upset with me one time because he thought I cut him off in traffic, and I did. And but you know, he wanted to be a road rage guy, right? So he was like swerving over, you know. And I got to the stop sign, and it's like it was a whole car full of guys. And then one of them jumped out of the car, and he came over to my car, and he said, because I said something, and he didn't understand what I said when it happened, and I wasn't even thinking about him. He thought I had said something, I guess, to attack him or something. And by the time he got to the car, he was all angry and ready to go off. And he said, "What did you say?" I said, "Peace to you." And he stopped. And then his shoulders slumped down, and he just turned around and walked back to his car. Because he was ready for a fight. He wasn't expecting me to say, yes. I also told him, yes, you're right, I did. And peace to you. He was ready for a fight. See, and so what I know, so he left. Now what I know about a person like that is that sooner or later they're going to do that with the wrong person. Sooner or later, they're going to do that with a person that's going to meet them with equal amount of attack or even more. You know why? Because a person who walks up on a stranger nowadays and attacks them, not knowing anything, whether that stranger got a gun, is crazy, you know they want to die. Mm-hmm. So you know that when a person walks up to you and doesn't know you, and they say attack things, you know they want to be attacked. Mm. You know they want to die. And you know they're creating a situation in their future that might just happen to them. Because they're going to meet their own consciousness. So what I did by choosing for peace is I didn't set that karmic action into motion for me. It stopped for me because I didn't attack him. So I didn't put any attack energy out for me. And I also saved him because he didn't have any attack energy for me either at that point. So I saved both of us through not choosing to attack. Does that make sense? I'll keep asking that because I know it can be kind of deep what I'm talking about right now. But somebody's got to choose not to attack. Somebody's got to be big enough that they're not going to meet attack with attack. Mm-hmm. So when somebody goes off on you, yeah, you got the choice of going off too, or you have the choice of not perpetuating attack energy for you.
That's right.
And what will happen if you do that, even though your ego says that you're being a wimp, okay? But what happens when you do that is that the attack in your experience and the anger in your experience with other people starts to decrease until you're in a world where nobody's ever angry and attacking you, which is the world I live in and have lived in for a long time. So it's not theoretical, anything that I'm telling you. Now, when I feel like I'm not loving myself the way that I should, then I still will create drama for myself. And I see the direct correlation between when I have drama and how I'm feeling about myself. So when I know I'm not loving myself like I should because I'm feeling bad about myself and I'm criticizing myself, then I kind of stay alert for how I might try to attack myself. So I can stay vigilant to not attack myself when the temptation comes to me to attack somebody else. Because I'm going to create it because I'm not loving myself. So I know what to expect. If I'm not loving Earl, you're not going to love Earl. If I'm not loving Earl, I might meet somebody that doesn't love Earl. So when I'm angry at me, I know I'm setting up a state of mind that could cause drama for me that day. So that's why I stay at home. Watch with my best, read a book, go to the park. When I'm angry and upset, I try to focus on the truth. That's the most protective thing you can do, is to focus on love and the truth. Because your consciousness is creating your reality. And so if your consciousness is not in an attack place, then you won't attack to yourself. But sometimes you will. And do you know why? Sometimes you will because there's still parts of you that doesn't love you completely yet. So if I don't love myself 100%, I love myself 90%, then I got a 10% chance of attack. Now, the Course in Miracles in the Way of Mastery says if you really establish your relationship with your source, then your source or God will take up the 10%. So there'd be still 100% love for yourself. So how I don't love myself, that which created me would take up that slack, and I'm still safe.
Yeah.
Right? So, let me finish this paragraph. It says, so I want to love you without reservation. I want to love you without reservation because you stand before me. You are the very embodiment of the very beloved. And that's the content or the essence, which is the presence of God. You are the embodiment of love. If I see anything other than the embodiment of love, I'm seeing my own projection on you and reacting to it. So if I see any of you as anything other than love, what I'm seeing is my perception of you. Because you all are not harming me, you're not attacking me, you're not putting the guilt trip on me, you're not robbing me, so there should be no reason why I'm feeling anything for you except love. You're not doing anything to me. So whatever's making me not feel love for you is something from my past that I'm telling myself that I'm projecting on you. And then I'm reacting to you without love. Because you literally are not, matter of fact, you're doing the opposite of doing something to me. You're here with me in the class that I'm sharing. You're here with me. You're not only not attacking me, you're supporting me. And I'm supporting you. So the only thing we should be feeling for each other is love. So what's keeping that from happening? Whatever you believe. That's what's between me and you.
That's right.
Is our beliefs. That's what's coming between us. What you believe. If you believe you can't hug anybody but your mate, then that would be the belief between you and me hugging. You see what I'm saying? It's always our beliefs. Like you were saying earlier. It's our beliefs that determine how we respond and react. That's the root of the race problem in America. It's what we believe. And beliefs that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. It's always our beliefs that keep us separate. If you can love one person in the black body, then that completely gets rid of the idea that you can't love black people. If I love one part of myself in the white body, that completely destroys the belief that I couldn't love people in a white body. All you need is one exception, and it completely collapses the whole system. So start with just one person that you're really willing to love without reservation. If you're in a special relationship with somebody, that means that's the person you singled out as your primary teacher. Then practice all these principles of unreserved, uncritical, total love and trust with them.
Yeah.
First. Since they're so freaking special to you. Right? I mean, that's the person you've chosen to be special with. Then practice this loving person that you're capable of being. Practice it with them. That would be the easiest place to start. So, or when you look upon your brother or sister and you see only Christ, that means the truly loving self that we are. That's what the Christ is. Then you have seen with the eyes of Christ, because your true self, the Christ in you, simply loves. Your true self, the Christ in you, the you that was created as an extension of the Creator, the one creation of the Creator, you are just love. And if you believe or if you see anything else about yourself other than that, then you are deceiving yourself about who you are. So if you're in pain, you're fooling yourself. You're telling yourself something about you or someone else that's not true. Even if it looks like it is. Even if you can tell me 100 justifications for why you think the way you believe is true. Even if you told me 1,000,000 reasons why you shouldn't trust people, I'm going to tell you, you've given me 1,000,000. You're telling me what you believe. You're telling me what you've learned. You're telling me what you've given meaning to. And it's been validated because the outer reality is going to reflect back to you what you believe about yourself. So when you come here, I want to strengthen the idea that you are loving, that you are lovable, and that you only deserve love. You think with that message for 16 years, it would be overflowing people in this building. You wouldn't even be able to get in front of the building, because that's the message I've been giving right here for over 16 years.
Thank you.
And you see how many people want to hear that on a regular basis. I was a Bronco, I couldn't nobody get near this building. It'll be so many people. It blew my mind that when the Broncos won the Super Bowl, and it was 1,000,000 people, they said, that came down to congratulate and celebrate. Not only was there 1,000,000 people, there wasn't any violence. I think they said it was like 2 arrests. That shows you the power of people coming together for a common cause that they all believe in, and how that makes all of them feel united with each other. So I say, love yourself as much as a Denver Bronco. And you will see your life change. Not the last season, but the season before. But you want to love them too, right?
Yeah.
You know, they deserve love too. So can we acknowledge ourselves for hearing this tonight? Come on. Yes. Beloved friends, be at peace. Amen. So I'm going to do a quick little recap. And I'm going to do the financial expression of appreciation now. If you would like to share with me as a full-time teacher and you see value in what I do, please do. I appreciate that. And you're innocent any way it goes. Also, if you're online and you'd like to share with me, go to my website, earlpurdy.com. I would really love that, and I would really appreciate that. And I'd like to keep this teaching ministry going. And also, I'd love to have the opportunity to do one-on-one work with you. And I call that my clarity sessions. Go to my website. It explains the services that I offer, and I can save you some time. And whatever your problem is, I have the answer to it according to the things that we're studying. And you don't have to keep suffering if you're willing to invest in yourself. You don't have to keep suffering if you're willing to invest in yourself. It'd be worth it. Also, I'm available for mentoring if you like to really have somebody work with you on understanding this material and applying it in your life. And I do A Course in Miracles at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Facebook Live. And I also do the Course of Love, which is another very powerful teaching, on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I just do that straight from my home. So that's not a class where we meet. But the Course of Love and the Way of Mastery the Course in Miracles on Sunday at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The Way of Mastery at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays Mountain Standard Time. And I really want to thank all of you for coming. I really want to thank all of you that have been watching online. There have literally been hundreds of people watching this class live. And so this group is much bigger than it appears to be. And I can feel your love, and I can feel your connection, and it inspires me, and it moves me, and it makes me want to be a better person. That's the effect that you have on me. That's how I see you. That's how I feel about you. I'm setting a high bar for anybody else in your life. Do not accept less than what you hear me saying I feel about you and want for you. From anybody. Period. You don't compromise about how you deserve to be treated. You can compromise about who watches TV on what night, who washes the dishes, all that kind of stuff. But do not compromise on your believing that you only deserve love and to be treated with respect and honor. Do not compromise with that. I don't care what anybody calls you. See them calling you selfish as being a good thing. Oh, you're just saying I really care about myself? Thank you. Oh, you're saying I really want my happiness? Thank you. Because nobody that loves you is going to ask you to sacrifice your happiness and your peace for them. Not anybody that really loves you. They're going to want you to do what truly makes you joyful and happy. For real. Even if it's not them. Because I've had relationships where I've said, if I'm not the one, I love you so much, I want you to choose to be with someone who really will meet the needs that you have. Because I want you to be happy. And that's how I'm going to show you my love. You know. And that's the way you do it. That didn't mean in that situation that I didn't feel sadness, or that I didn't feel hurt, or I didn't make myself feel some kind of loss. But I really loved them. So therefore I wanted them to be happy. And I knew I would never be happy having to constantly be something other than myself. So I loved them too much to build resentment for them by me doing what I know didn't fulfill me, to be with them. And I figure out of several billion people, you can't possibly be so special that there's no one you can get along with. That's a little bit too damn special. Think about that. There are billions of people on the planet, but there's no one that could love you. Come on. Really? Really? Come on. Are you that special? No, you're not. You're not. There's somebody that's been assigned to you, according to the Course in Miracles. That each one of us have people that are assigned to us, that we are going to learn what love really is through. And they may come in different bodies.
Like, you mean like human bodies?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think so. I think so. You know, even though there's some pretty cool horses out there, but I don't think we're ready for the horses yet. But because some people is horses, you know. So that's cool too. Yeah, but what I'm saying is you're lovable. And you're lovable the way you are. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Is that cool? Yeah. Doggone right that's cool. Doggone right that's cool. You online, you all also, you're so doggone juicy it don't make no sense. I'm telling you, it is such a beautiful, 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 beautiful experience being with you. So, here's the prayer.
Sweet dreams that soothe me when I can't fall asleep. Feel in the middle of the city.
So would you close your eyes just a minute and feel everybody in the room? How would you like to no longer have any concerns? How would you like to no longer have any worries over the body? How would you like to no longer have no concerns and no worries about the state of the world? How would you like to no longer have no concern or worry over anything? How would you like to be a part of the eternal dance of creation? The extension of love, the extension of happiness, the extension of joy. How would you like to have an awakened, peaceful, prosperous, abundant mind? A mind that knows that it is participating in this incredible mystery. Live your life as if it's a mystery. Have a relationship with the unknown. You have a lot of good stuff that's unknown to you right now. It's time for you to have a relationship with the unknown. There are no longer any blocks. How would you like to have no blocks to fear whatsoever? It's time for you to go beyond just the level of living that you call surviving. Would you like to have more than enough? So much more that just the overflow from your abundance feeds everything and everybody around you. See, I want you to picture a glass that's totally full, and it's so full with the milkshake of life that it's just overflowing off of the edges of the glass. And so you got so much excess love and joy that it's just flowing out to everybody around you, but you feel completely full. Your glass stays completely full. That's the way it is when you start to truly love yourself and remove the blocks to the awareness of love in yourself. You are not attached, and since you're not attached, you're so freaking creative that the flow of creativity is moving through you. Let the flow of creativity move through you. Let the flow of creativity move through you. Let it move through you.
I understand. There may be grief and there may be pain, but I'm aware you blind the darkness with who you are because
I'm telling you, you're completely lovely. You're so lovely. You're the center of the universe. You're so doggone lovely. You're so doggone juicy and lovely. You're the center of my universe. You deserve love. You only deserve love. You deserve love, and you only deserve love. Thank you for coming. I love you. I appreciate you. Hugs are available. Let's give it up to us because we're so damn cool. One more time. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you online. You're a blessing in my life. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thanks, brother.